Well, this week's video goes out to Beth Spotswood, who made it crystal clear that I lacked a sense of humor and I wasn't particularly relaxed in last week's video and wasn't particularly inspired by the backdrop in this video address. So this week we added, well, a poinsettia, the red flower you see behind me. It shows a sense of Christmas cheer here at San Francisco City Hall at a time when, well, we need to be cheered up, because this week started off with making some tough decisions on the budget, a $45 million shortfall mid-year that we had to address. And we did so, I think, quickly, deliberatively, and appropriately with the outstanding work of Greg Wagner, my budget director, the good support that we received from members of the Board of Supervisors, my department heads, and of course our controller, Bren Rosenfeld. We had a shortfall that needed to be addressed, most notably by replenishing our general fund reserve, and we have done that. We've also done something that is significant, and that is we have reduced, as a consequence of making some of these mid-year adjustments, next year's budget deficit that last week was projected at $522.2 million, and now it's still an extraordinary number. Now we're projecting it at about $497.2 million. Again, a number that's going to move around a lot as we move towards addressing that beginning today and not looking back as we did yesterday when we finally unveiled that $45 million plan. And by the way, they were not all cuts. 88% of the plan that we introduced in terms of solutions was not direct service cuts. There were no layoffs in this. There was, I think, very good ideas around efficiencies, looking at overtime, looking at holiday pay, looking at better managerial strategies, as well as being strategic and thoughtful about how we use resources like our vehicles and reducing the size of the vehicle fleet in the city, leading by example, the mayor's office stepping up with salary givebacks, including myself, about 15%, in fact, 15% pay cut. My chief of staff, a similar pay cut, and many other members of my staff took 10% pay cuts just to, again, exemplify the fact that we're all in this together. And I hope that over the course of the next few months, we'll be making a lot more changes. We'll have a lot more time to dialogue about some of the strategies and the thoughts around dealing with next year's shortfall. That was the difficult part about this week. Candidly, that's been the difficult part about the last few weeks as we've tried to navigate that shortfall. Now that we've done it, it's behind us. We moved quickly and restored that rainy day reserve, or restored the general fund reserve. Now again, we're able to focus on tomorrow. And speaking of the future, I think the future is very bright, particularly out on Treasure Island. I had the great privilege of going back to Washington, D.C. in the middle of the week, met with Secretary Mabus, the Secretary of Navy, after literally, I don't exaggerate, 16 years where we've been trying to negotiate with the Navy for the conveyance of the land, the property out on Treasure Island. Finally, we had a handshake agreement this week. This is a big deal, not just for San Francisco, but the entire Bay Area region. This is going to be the most sustainable, large-scale development in American history. What I mean by that, the highest level of sustainability in terms of green building standards, cogeneration strategies, wind, solar, new strategies in terms of congestion pricing, bicycle strategies, new ferry service that will be out there, new berthing for boats, large and small. We have an incredible plan that includes retail components and open space, a new shoreline promenade, including a new hotel out there. Again, 6,000 housing units, which include, by the way, 30% affordability as a percentage. So a sustainable green development that will be world-class, and we're finally now on the cusp of groundbreaking and a final agreement and documents that will be signed in the next few months. We hope in the first quarter of next year, when the Secretary of Navy, we expect, will come out to Treasure Island for that signing ceremony. But great news, 5,000+ jobs over the life of the construction period, thousands of permanent jobs attached to that, just what we need at the right time as it relates to the macroeconomic challenges we face in our city. Also went out to D.C. to meet with Speaker Pelosi, met in the White House with White House representatives, met with Joe Biden, our Vice President's staff, and actually a member of his family, his son Hunter, who's a wonderful person, by the way, and had the opportunity to also meet with Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis, to talk about our Jobs Now program. Again, we've hired over 1,200 people through the Jobs Now program. This is a direct 100% wage subsidy, only eligibility requirement, and I said this last week, I'm going to repeat it every week until we reach our goal of at least 2,000 people employed through this program, is you have to have a dependent And those of you that are unaware of this program, either as business owners or as individuals that are unemployed, please call 311 and learn more about this. The reason I went out there, though, was to not only highlight the success of this stimulus program, but to ask that it get extended beyond September of 2010, and also ask that we consider removing the one criteria, and that is you have to have a dependent and be unemployed. Just would obviously like be unemployed without the dependent. Think about this. We were talking with the Secretary of Labor on Wednesday of this week. If the Newsom plant, with all the controversy around the Newsom plant, if we were able to attach this Jobs Now program to Newsom, and by the way, I don't know if it's too late, but for everyone that has a dependent, that's 100% wage subsidy. Can we keep, or could we keep that plant open? This is something, by the way, we're exploring. This is a big deal, and I don't want to overstate, but I'm not going to understate this. This program has $1.8 billion in California to create 100% subsidized wage jobs, and there's no cap on the wages. And we, of course, look at reasonable wages. But the Newsom plant is a perfect example of a plant that potentially could be saved through this program. Again, at least for all those employees that have dependents, the economics of that plant then significantly change. So that's just an example of some of the ways we're looking more creatively to scale this outside of San Francisco. But a very successful trip back east. Hats off to Speaker Pelosi on her extraordinary work to get Treasure Island conveyed. Of course, Senator Feinstein, who's been there from day one. Willie Brown, to his credit, all the work that he did over the years with the Clinton administration. Just good to finally get this thing done. And no one deserves more credit than Michael Cohen and the Mayor's Office of Economic Development and Jack Sylvan. Well done. You guys are superstars. I mean that. And I'm just proud you're working for the city because you guys have a lot of opportunities in your life to do great things. And you did something great here. And your legacy is attached to it. So I'm very proud of you. So thank you. So that was another big part of the success of the week. I think the most significant part of the success of the week. We also had some other really wonderful things that happened. Jose Cisneros and I, a number of years ago, launched two programs. One was a local earned income tax credit to allow working families to keep more of what they're earning. It's the only local earned income tax credit in the United States of America. Just shy of 7,000 people took advantage of it in 2008. That's something we're really, really proud of. But it became an anchor to create a new program called Bank on San Francisco. Roughly half of African Americans and half of Latinos in our city are not banked. They don't have a relationship with a check cashing, or rather a checking account or a bank account of savings and the like at a credit union or a traditional savings and loan. Because of Bank on San Francisco, now 45,000, roughly 45,000 people have bank accounts. It's a phenomenal success. It's been replicated in over 70 cities and states. Now, Jose Cisneros and his team are taking it to the next level, working together. It's called Payday Plus. We're going after the predatory nature of payday loans that charge over 400% interest in terms of the loans that they proffer on average. Let me give you an example. You go in and you get a payday loan. And how many? There are, by the way, 25,000 payday loan slots, locations across the country. That's double the number of Starbucks and McDonald's combined. This is serious business, and I mean literally serious business. People go in and they're getting 400% interest rates. Predatory nature of these places, I know some are good, but a lot of them don't operate as effectively. And people are coming in with an average loan, sometimes with $300, they end up paying back $800 on that $300 loan. Literally, studies will bear that out. $300, you end up paying $800. We're now going to get into that business with partnerships with 6 credit unions called Payday Plus. San Francisco is going to provide 18%, not 400% loans. This is a big deal. We think this has huge consequence, not only in our city as we roll this thing out, but across the state and around the nation. Payday Plus, to learn more about it and to tell your friends and family or tell other folks in your community that they need to get out of these check cashing places and get out of these payday loan arrangements, call 311. I cannot encourage you more to take advantage of this program. Another great program that we launched this week is called SF Square. It's our green financing program. We put up $150 million. Now there is no barrier to doing energy efficiency, water efficiency upgrades, to put photovoltaics on your roof, because there's no upfront cost. You can get the financing, attach it through this Melrose district we created for a 20-year period and amortize that loan. You get deductibility on your loan and attach it to your property. Obviously, as a renter, we have to address the needs of renters, and we are through other programs in encouraging homeowners and apartment building owners to put energy efficiency up. But now there's no cost entry. This is the biggest program in the United States of America. $150 million has been put up. You can take advantage of this loan in the first quarter of next year. Again, call 311. A wonderful job, Jared Bloomfeld and Department of Environment. Great work by Nadia Sase and our bond counsel and all the folks there in the finance department, and a great job by Joanna and others in my Department of Environment, my liaison to the Department of Environment. This is a really, really exciting plan. Just briefly, in the few minutes we have remaining, I want to mention a couple of other exciting things, and to the extent that I think they're exciting, it just shows, well, sometimes how exciting being mayor is. And that is pension reform. Working with Supervisor Ellsburn, we introduced some legislation to get serious about our unfunded health care liabilities in this city. And I hope people take a good look at what Supervisor Ellsburn has introduced. We worked very hard in the last few months to put this together. Mickey Callahan, Steve Cava, my office have organized this, and we're trying to build real partnerships with labor. Not everyone's going to sign off on this, but I think we've got a good piece of legislation that we hope to get to the voters in June of this year. It'll be the first city to seriously take on the issue of pensions and begin to draw down and fund our pension system in a way that we need to, again, on retiree health care in particular. We have a beautifully managed pension system generally, but on the health care side, we've got this $3+ billion unfunded liability, and it's time we start paying it down. Final few points on December 22nd. I hope folks come out that haven't gotten the H1N1 vaccine. We have 16,000 doses that are going to be distributed between 10 and 7 p.m. December 22nd at Bill Graham Civic Auditorium here in the Civic Center area. So I just want folks, again, that want to familiarize themselves more with what we're doing, exactly what we're doing, to call 311 and take advantage of these free vaccines that are being distributed at Bill Graham. And final point, we're rolling out Sunday Streets. It was such a success last year that we're rolling out 9 locations next year, starting in March. Some of the golden oldies will be down at Fisherman's Wharf again in the Embarcadero. We'll be in the Mission in Bayview, but we're also going to add the Civic Center itself, and the Tenderloin and some other parts of town will be back out in the Great Highway, which will be, as it was last year, a great success. So I hope people learn more about our Sunday Streets. It's going to be longer hours. It's going to be much more, I think, impactful in terms of the programs and the services that will make it a more interesting experience. But democratizing our streets, beginning to close down some streets and some new pilot programs is really taking shape and taking off, and I think becoming more and more popular and successful. And so I want to encourage people to learn more about Sunday Streets. Again, call 311 and learn more information. So a good week, a lot more I could talk about, not enough time. I wish everyone happy Hanukkah. Those that are experiencing and enjoying Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas to everyone, and I'll be back before the new year and reflect on some other things that I didn't have time today to talk about. Happy holidays.